So the news cycle today has been just filled up with this whole bomb thing. Like there was a bomb showed up at George Soros's house a couple days ago, and then today these bomb-like devices are showing up everywhere. And there are some interesting things about this, that I just want to point out. First of all, a couple of weeks ago, when these letters were showing up with rising in them to every, high-profile conservative out there, on the Kavanaugh vote, it was nothing. It barely made the news, right? But all of a sudden today, bombs start showing up to Democrats, and we're talking about acts of terrorism. So thank you, media, for blowing up some hysteria on that one. The second thing I would just like to point out, that finally, after like 50 years of liberal Democrats and the media trying to make everybody into a victim, they themselves are victims. I find that to be a bit of poetic justice. So congratulations, you have arrived. You are now the people you represent. You are a victim. So here's the thing. Suspicion tells me, like so many times when bad things happen to liberals, that it's a liberal doing it. That it's probably going to be traced back to some asshat liberal that's trying to make conservatives look crazy and angry and mean. When all the time it's always liberals who are crazy and angry and mean. I mean, after all, it was a liberal who shot up the Republican softball practice. It was liberals that send ricin through the mail. It's liberals that attack people in the street for wearing MAGA hats. Okay? This has the calling card of liberalism all over it. And so my suspicion is, like when some black church is burned down and there's racial slurs written on the wall, it turns out to be some black guy that's just trying to incite violence. So yeah, that's my suspicion. Now I would be lying if I didn't tell you I hope it's some conservative that has done this. And here's the reason why. Because for a long time now, the liberals have used this playbook of violence and anger and rage. And they lash out at people that don't agree with them. And they attack people in the street. And they commit acts of violence. And finally, after all this time, conservatives have started to say, you know what? What's good for you is good for me. What goes around comes around. So yeah, there's a part of me that hopes that this is the act of some conservative that's just finally said, how do you like it? How do you like it when it happens to you? How do you like it when you're on the receiving end of this kind of horse shit? Because that's really where we're at. Liberals have thrown this out there for a long time, and it's about time they get some of it back. Am I disappointed? Yeah. And not necessarily that someone sent a bomb, but maybe that they sent an ineffective one. I'll just say that. But here's the deal. If you fan the flames of hysteria, and as I've stated before, I believe that the liberals fan the flames of hysteria because they know they can't get Trump to resign. They know they can't get him, beat at the polling booth. And they know they're never going to win in the arena of anything with the guy. That public opinion is on his side. That I believe they fan the flames of hysteria, hoping that some unhinged liberal on their side attempts to assassinate the president. I really believe that's their hope. That's the only option they have left to beat Donald Trump. And I think when you fan the flames of hysteria, hoping to incite violence from people on your side to carry out your agenda, that ultimately you're going to incite violence on the other side. Violence begets violence. And, I want to tailgate a little bit on, piggyback on what Mick said a couple of days ago. I retweeted where he talked about, just wanting to go into the middle of a big Antifa group and just start throwing hands. I'm fine with that. They've got it coming. And I read that thread. And here's where some of you are wrong, okay? Here's where you've bought into a lie that you've probably been told all your life. That, by your school teachers, your principals, your Sunday school teacher, your minister, even your mother has told you this lie. And I'm going to dispel that myth for you right now. Sometimes, this is fact, sometimes violence is the answer. And when people continue to act out violently towards your side, at some time, you just have to throw decorum out the window. You have to. And you have to say, to hell with taking the high road all the time. It is time. It is time to return their violence and their rhetoric and their hysteria in kind. It is time. So yeah, somebody sending bombs to members of the DNC? Good. Take note. I'm glad they sent one to CNN. Here's a little message. Continue to lie to the American people and somebody's going to get tired of being lied to. Okay? It happens. But at the end of the day, my suspicion is it's some liberal just trying to make it look like conservatives are violent and crazy. And that's just crap. We'll see. But again, I would be lying if I said I didn't hope it was a conservative that did it, just to send a message. And it's a message I think needs to be sent, and I think it's long overdue. And I think liberals should walk down the street with their head on a swivel, just like conservatives have had to do for the last 2 years. Bottom line is, you lost an election, and you can't deal with it. And you've been throwing a fit for 2 damn years about it. And this is what it's brought us to. Liberals, whether it was a liberal that did this, trying to make conservatives look bad, or whether it was a conservative that did this because he's had enough, ultimately, liberals are responsible for what happened the last couple days. Bottom line. So y'all think about that, and we'll see you down the road.